teachers program. That means capacitating teacher educators or ADS. The most important thing is, of course, to focus on how to. That's how do we translate these different goals. An outstanding achievement for Namibia is that we are the only country in SADC, or at least we claim so, that had successfully developed a national environmental education policy that reorient, integrate, and upscale quality environmental education in environmental awareness, education and training systems, research and innovation systems, policies and programs, and action for sustainable development. UNAM has played a critical leadership role in the development of this policy and in the implementation plan, and is currently represented on the National ESD Task Force that aims at the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the policy. As I indicated earlier, I was privileged early this year to have attended the ESD Policy Dialogue for SADC that was hosted in Johannesburg in March. And that dialogue brought together more than 120 delegates from 11 SADC member states. The policy dialogue resulted in the development of an ESD regional strategic framework, which we all are expected to implement. You will agree with me that this conference is the right platform, therefore, to unpack and deliberate on the goals and objectives in that framework, in order to pursue and conceptualize, as well as scaling up the programs and initiatives that will improve human capacities for socio-economic development in the areas of education and human resources development, health, and other pandemics or other diseases of public health concerns. We of course have to remember that ESD is not for its own concern, but it also has to lead to poverty eradication, employment creation, and food and nutrition security, and gender equality. I hope this conference will strengthen our resolve and commitment to ESD in our efforts to improve the quality and equity of our education systems as part of the country's commitment to meet the SDGs for education by 2030. I look forward to the outcomes of the conference as those who will serve as guiding principles, also for UNAM, in redefining and shaping our programs and initiatives. Finally, at the ESD Policy Dialogue, I mentioned a few things which today I would like to repeat. First, as a university, we have decided to go green in our approach and practice. We have established a Green Hydrogen Research Institute, which you will probably hear more about later in the conference. But we are also finalizing the establishment of the Climate Change Research Institute at this university. Secondly, with the support from the Welsh government and under the grant leadership of our eminent executive dean of Health Sciences and Veterinary Medicine, Prof. Judith Hall, who is here. It's not usual that you will find an intensive care medical specialist being interested in environment, but she is. Through her, we have received a grant from the Welsh government, and we are buying electric vehicles. And with those electric vehicles, what we are saying is that it is possible to reduce dependency on fossil fuels. And the procurement process is just ongoing, but we have a sample of these vehicles that you will be able to view later today. I think we can give a we also have a very strong green agenda in our strategic plan. And again, under a grant held by Prof. Hall and with the support of the Welsh government, co-funded by us as a university, we are undertaking an indigenous fruit tree forest project This is based at Ogongo Forest. We call it Ogongo Forest Park, where we have dedicated more than 100 hectares for reforestation. This is it's very important, and we're not just doing it to do reforestation, but we are attaching means and mechanisms for livelihood. And that's why we have chosen fruit trees. So when we plant, these trees must give back to people. And as you know, fruit trees such as marula and many others have value. And that is what we want to assist the communities with. Number 4, with the support from the University of Turku, we own a desalination plant at our campus in Hentis Bay, where we desalinate water pumped from Atlantic Ocean. This plant, where we also bottle water, is 100% solar powered, and it is capable of producing 3,000 cubic meters per hour. This water, we see a lot of it, it's that Atlantic water which we enjoy. But in addition to this and the Ogongo Forest Park, we are studying the carbon sequestration capacity of indigenous trees and plants, as well as exotic fruit trees and plants, to see what is their capacity to, how much carbon can they absorb. And the reason we are doing that is not just to make the desert green, but it's also because we are aware that the United Nations this so-called the polluter pays principle. And so if we are able to perfect the science of how much carbon these trees and plants are able to absorb, we can say anyone who flies here, this is how much carbon you are polluting. And if you have paid attention to your tickets, you will see that there's an indication of how much carbon is spent with your flight. And with that, we can say with the airlines that come here or truckers that come here, this is how much pollution you are causing, and you must pay for it. Now, as a conclusion, we will soon also launch other initiatives around climate change, focused more on climate change ambassadors. I will not speak more about this. I will speak more when we launch it. But I want to just conclude by saying the effort around environmental education is not a business of education institutions or governments. It is a business for all of us. And we have to show that by living sustainably. Not just teaching about it, but by living it. With this, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. I apologize once again, really not for being here, but I will join you whenever I have a chance to come. So please welcome to the University of Namibia and enjoy your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, VC, Professor Kenneth Matengu. There was one thing I didn't want to say, but I can now confidently say it while he's on his way out, that our VC is actually also an ESD champion in the region and beyond the region. So I think his speech is evident for that. Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to then move on to the item that was supposed to be the first item, and can also apologize at this point for not acknowledging the president of EEASA. This is because maybe still thinking about the VC's presence. So now I can acknowledge the EEASA president, Dr. Prisha Ramsaraf, and then, like I said, our local organizing committee chairperson, Prof. Alex Kanimba, who are also going to then welcome us to EEASA 2020. So I'm going to give over to Prof. Alex Kanimba to welcome everyone to EEASA 2020. Prof? Sorry, 2022. Because they say with COVID, the 2 last years didn't exist.
Okay. Good morning once more again.
Morning.
And thank you so much, Chairperson, and everyone. And for this chance, I am actually, my name has been presented already. I'm Alex Kanimba, an associate professor in the subject of environmental education. And I'm based here at the University of Namibia. I stand here on the protocol that was already established by the DC. And I think I would also like to mention that we have in this audience the Mayor Katima Morilo. If I'm not mistaken, I would like to acknowledge that the Mayor Katima Morilo, who must have traveled all the way from Katima, which is about 350 kilometers, to be with us, and also the CEO, if they are here. Let me acknowledge them, and I acknowledge everyone else who is who came to be with us here. Thank you for coming. My task is not going to be very much complicated. I suppose it's going to be just to offer a word of welcome, and in particular, our colleagues who have come from different corners of Southern Africa and beyond feel welcome to the EEASA conference hosted at the University of Namibia. Please feel at home, feel welcome. I'm going to talk about some of our challenges a little bit. I'm going to reflect on that as I go on with my presentation. For us in Namibia, EEASA is actually a very important organization in the history of our environmental education in Namibia. So, EEASA started some 40 years ago, and Namibia became independent in 1990. We broke away from South Africa, and we hosted it 2 years after the independence of Namibia. That was in 1992, and I was still a student at the Academy, a student of Geography. And it was hosted by the Ministry of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism. That year, I was just one of the learners with the associate dean there, who was also of education, who was actually also a fellow student of mine in geography classroom, Professor Musemani, who is here with us. Thank you for coming to this event. And we also hosted it in 2003. By that time, it was hosted by the Desert Research Foundation of Namibia. At that time, of course, I was establishing myself as an academic in the field of environmental education. And we did the other event in 2014, which was, we impressed quite a few stakeholders who supported us, especially the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism of Namibia, who were with us. So EEASA is actually very, very important in our calendar, very much important organization, and we need Namibia Environmental Education Network, which is also organized to support the efforts of environmental education and education for sustainable development. Sometimes people often criticize us, because in our policy, we deliberately we used both terms of environmental education and education for sustainable development, because we don't want to go into the debate of whether it's environmental education or education for sustainable development. So we are flexible to another user who wants to use the term environmental education and education for sustainable development. And that's why if you're gonna see our policy for Namibia, you're gonna see these terms being, being utilized throughout the policy and the action plan that was launched and was financed by the Global Environmental Facility through financed by mainly through the environment. We often say that we're one of the first countries to incorporate an article in the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, Article 95, which speaks quite eloquently about issues of sustainability. And our ecosystems and ensure, we provide the mandate for environmental education in the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, Article 95, and also in the same article, Article 20 speaks about education. So it's like, it's a combination of Article 95 and Article 20 to make environmental education and education for sustainable development in Namibia. And of course, we have introduced, I think the government of Namibia has done some efforts to incorporate issues of the environment in the curricula, the cross curricula in lower primary and also in junior secondary. And then of course, in the senior secondary, there's some of the career subjects where you can find environmental education and education for sustainable development content areas. So there is actually something that's happening in the school system, and something's happening at the University of Namibia in terms of ensuring that education for sustainable development and environmental education is reflected through our Constitution. And as I've mentioned, that this conference is actually has been somehow challenging for us to organize, not necessarily the same with the other conferences that we've done in the past, specifically because of the fact that it's COVID time. We're emerging from COVID, and we had to do most of our meetings virtually. So it was quite challenging, and that was a new experience for us because we couldn't meet face to face. So the first time that we met face to face was when you saw us yesterday, when we were talking at the country club. So I'm trying to touch out a few things here and there. And we also had an issue of some of our sponsors, because we had a green hydrogen conference that was coming before this conference, and some of our participants were also there because they were committing themselves to the green hydrogen conference, and there is another parallel conference, I understand, maybe a gathering which is going to take place now in Ngwediva, and some of our people are there. So some of these things have been quite challenging for us. And then, of course, that's why we even chose this thing, which is about education for post-COVID-19 recovery and attaining the Sustainable Development Goals, reconsideration, challenges, and opportunities. So, of course, from COVID, which the VC has talked about, there are some challenges, and of course, maybe some opportunities, because we even have to learn a lot more about virtual that we didn't know about. So thank you to the colleagues from the council who managed to help us here and there to ensure that this live streaming of this event. Thank you so much for coming to help us out, to help us out in this regard. So without you, we're not gonna do. Maybe we're not gonna succeed in terms of ensuring that this event is live streamed, and also our parallel sessions. So those are some of the things that we had. What do we expect from this conference? We actually expect quite a few aspects, and some of those I'm not going to mention, but there will be about 120 presentations. And there will be some exhibitions in the hall. So there are some organizations from Namibia and beyond that are going to exhibit some of their practices, sustainability practices. So we're gonna see that. And I also want to mention Prof. Judith. Thank you so much, Prof. She actually wanted to give us, the Lisa has mentioned her name. She even wanted to give us the keys yesterday. And then I joked to the president that, are you going to drive it, President? Because I think there are going to be 2 cars, if I'm not mistaken, that are going to be handed over to us. They are electric venue. And then, President, you're welcome. Need to drive. She wanted to give us the keys yesterday. So it was just a very busy day yesterday. So, but Prof is there to help us. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming about and helping us. So we're going to see also the Ombombo mobile classroom. So those who were at some other conferences, you're going to see that one. The Ombombo mobile, and that is from Edu Ventures. I don't know whether I have chorus here, whether they brought the truck. He said he's going to bring the truck, and we're going to see it there today. And of course, we were given 3,600 bottles of water, desalinated water. So if you're not getting enough, it's just because we are not getting it from where it's stored. But we have enough. We have enough of these bottles for everyone. 4 times a day? 3 times a day. So 3,600 bottles of water. Half of that is a donation from the University of Namibia, and then half of it is the cost to UNO. So thank you for all these initiatives in the university and elsewhere. And then, of course, we are going to see, I think I'm very much excited because I see that there are young people here. We have Oranjemont, primary school, we're going to perform. This is the presentation. It was just schools from Zimbabwe that came to pay for us, to show us what they're doing in their schools. But I'm so happy to see that at this event of this year in 2022, sorry, I'm repeating this. 2022. What's this called? Pioneers Park. Simembasia. There's another one. It's going to be for more. That is Orangemont. That is about how many kilometers? 1,000 kilometers. So please, can we give them a round of applause? And then Simembasia also give you a round of applause for coming to the event. It's in the term sustainable development, which is about ensuring that we leave the planet safe for you. So there's a notion of intergenerational equity. So when we talking about that, it's actually implicit in that concept of sustainable development, which means that this planet, we're handing it over to you, and we borrowed the planet from you. So you're the one who's gonna take over from us. So you're the future, and your generation, you are very important. So when we see you here, we feel so good, we feel excited, and please feel welcome, and be at your best if you're going to show us something. And the Minister of Education was supposed to come today, but maybe somebody's going to deliver the presentation. But tomorrow we have the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, the Ombudsman of Namibia, who's going to speak here. And then we also have the mayor, the CEO of Katimamlilo is going to speak on Thursday. So these are some of the highlights. We will have also former president's discussion, a panel. We could talk about our policy and talk about quite a few things, that my presentation would not come out. But you will see some of these things. There's quite a lot of highlights that you can expect. So please, you feel at home, because there's quite a lot that's lined up for you. And also, I just want to say thanks to those who are actually assisting me, because it has been very difficult to given the time for Congress for helping out, ensuring that colleagues from Southern Africa and beyond, really, I cannot do it without you. So Ms. Melda should also give you a round of applause now. So I think just to make sure that you feel at home, and if there is any other thing that is not going well, has not gone well, we are also learning first time after COVID that we this event, and we have to learn from COVID also, to strategize, to find ways of ensuring that we maintain the spirit of EEASA, the spirit of togetherness of Southern Africa, of the longest run organization in the world. Thank you so much, EEASA, and
Thank you, Committee Chairperson, Professor CEO and Mayor and for the Faculty of Education and Professor we are also graced with the presence of, so that is a panel on Thursday to give them an opportunity. So we really are excited to have our former and our current those who, because we also need you so that you and tomorrow to also engage in the recipient.
And a huge welcome to EEASA 2022. It is a great privilege to stand here before you and welcome you to the 40th EEASA conference. So, colleagues, friends, and fellow EEASA members, my name is Prisha Ramsaru. For those of you that do not know me, I come from Wits University, based in Johannesburg, and I have the privilege of being the current EEASA president. I am very pleased to be able to welcome you to this 40th EEASA conference. It is amazing that that fledgling organization that started in 1982 is 40 years old. So I just would like to know, was there anyone that was at the first EEASA conference? Jim. Thank you, Jim. I know you've made a huge contribution to EEASA over the 40 years. And then I'd like to know, is there anyone that's attending their first EEASA conference? Please put your hands up. And special welcome to all these young people, because they're going to be the future EEASA members. So a huge welcome to you, and I should just warn you that EEASA is my favorite conference. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, as academics, we tend to go to different conferences, but there's always something about EEASA. You never, professors dance, professors dance, communities come together. There's zero arrogance in the way people share their work. People just listen to each other's work. People give people ideas and people share. So for those of you that are coming to your first EEASA conference, I want to tell you that I came to my first EEASA conference as a very young second-year biology teacher. And I learned about EEASA, Jim, through taking children to Umgeni Valley, taking my own biology students to Umgeni Valley. And I picked up a brochure about a course that was then being run at RAW. And I discovered EE, I discovered EEASA, and when I attended my first EEASA conference, I could see the work that I was doing with children in my classroom and the bigger contribution it was actually making. I could see my work connected with different people. And many of those people that I met then in 1998, yes, I admit I'm old. And many of those people that I met then, I actually am still connected to now. So a huge welcome, not just to the EEASA conference, but to EEASA network, because that is what we are. You've joined a learning network of people across the SADC. I think I actually would like to start by acknowledging Professor Kanimba and all of the members of the LOC. Thank you for your warm welcome to your very hot country. But I just want to say, I know that it has been tough, and I know it has been difficult, and I know that sometimes we have been tough. Not me, sorry, but I know it's been a tough journey. Planning an international conference is not easy for anyone that has never done it before. It is even more difficult with the uncertainty that they started with. Is it going to be hybrid? Is it going to be online? Is it going to be face-to-face? We know all the difficulties that you have had to deal with, but we are here. Please take a deep breath and be proud of that. We are here, we are excited, and it's going to be an awesome EEASA conference. And I hope that you are proud of what you've managed to achieve, because we're really proud of the local organizing committee and all the hard work that they put into getting this all together. So thank you, all of you. So after the last two unprecedented years, it is so good to actually think about a face-to-face conference. While COVID surfaced extraordinary human resourcefulness and potential, it has sadly exacerbated and revealed many of the deep-seated historical and structural challenges in our societies. So ESD friends, as we consider building back better towards a more sustainable, equitable and just society, we contemplate the theme of EEASA 2022, which is education for a post-recovery COVID and attaining the SDGs, our reconsiderations, challenges, and opportunities. So, as we deliberate the challenges that are facing African societies, like loss of economic security, livelihoods, deepening poverty and vulnerability, lack of access to clean water, hunger, food security, increasing inequalities, let us also remember and probe the implications for transforming education systems for a more sustainable, equitable, and just future. The work that we all do. What is the role of education in achieving the world that we aspire for? So as I proudly welcome you to the 40th EEASA conference, I am grateful to the many of you who have come to share your experiences, your expertise, and your knowledge over the next few days. I welcome the many representatives of different government departments across the SADC regions, industry, educators, academics, NGOs, which is another reason why EEASA is such an awesome network, because you hear about so many aspects of real practice. A glance through the list of presentations planned for the next few days, LOC, reveal an amazing diversity and scope of ESD work that is happening in the SADC region. So on behalf of Council, I want to extend a special thank you again, LOC, for the hard work. It has not been easy pulling off this conference, I know. Colleagues, we wish you a fruitful, on behalf of Council, we wish you fruitful and rewarding exchanges over the next few days. We're looking forward to hearing about the outcomes, and we're looking forward to hearing about the exciting plans for the next 50 years of EEASA.
Wow.
And hopefully I will share. But as we celebrate our 40th, because this is EEASA with the indulgence of the chair of the LOC, as well as the LOC members and all of our attendees here today, I'll use the mic, like you often do when you have this, to say happy birthday to the mother of EEASA. So I'm going to ask all of you to join me to sing happy birthday, Mumsy. Mumsy, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mumsy. Happy birthday to you. Yep.
With those few words, colleagues, I welcome you to EEASA 2022. I hand you you back to the LOC to let's hear about all the logistics and everything else. And let's get started.
Thank you, Prisha. I think now you can see I'm smiling, and I will tell you why I'm smiling. Why am I smiling? I heard Prisha for the first time, saying the council is excited. Because last night when I left Country Club, I said to everybody who was at that round table, my goodness, Prisha asked the most difficult questions. Just while you think that we got it right, then she said, have you thought about the hybrid? But I'm like, Prisha, can I just go and sleep? Like, no, you can't go sleep, you are hosting. But for her to say we are excited, I think that is really something nice for us to hear from the local organizing committee. But I can also relate to a lot of things that she has said, that it's not very easy to organize a conference of this magnitude. I think it started for some of us almost like I can say like a joke. But as it was getting in the midst of things along the way, I thought, I don't think this is for me. And then life happens. The other day, Jim on something, and then Jim, I have hosted EEASA 3 times in my life. And every time I host the EEASA conference, I say it's going to be my last. But at the end of the conference, the excitement and the expression on people's faces, it makes me say, I'm going to host it again. So I won't be surprised if maybe by the end of Thursday, Jim said he wants to host the conference again. So, yeah. So I'm just saying I can relate to the conversation or the welcoming remarks of Prisha, because the last few months have been an experience. However, having said that, there was also a bit of consolation from us as a local organizing committee, because we always say, you know what, whether we get sponsorship, whether we get this or that, it's okay, because with EEASA, it's really just a family that wants to come together. People just want to see each other again. They just want to laugh. They just want to smile. They just want to make sure that we have seen each other again after 2 years. So yesterday when I saw Eureka and I saw Propeller, I saw Daniel, I saw everybody else, I was just like, forget about the things like banners and what else that is not working. Here we are. People are smiling, they are happy, and we are going to get it, and we are going to make it. At the end of the EEASA conference on Thursday, we are going to have something concrete to say, yes, we have done EEASA 2022, and for the next 50 years, this is our plan for EEASA. So this is where we are. So you see my voice has changed because the president has spoken and she's excited. So with that, I'm then going to just give us a little bit of an icebreaker with a poem by David Nikisi from Zimbabwe, who is going to do a little poem for us on Speak Up for Nature. So David, over to you.
You're not smiling. All protocol observed. I was thrilled when the VC was saying something about planting indigenous trees, fruit trees in Odongo. Odongo, yes. So apparently, I'm passionate about this. In 2019, I got engaged to my fiancé while he's planting a tree, like proposed a while planting a tree. Then when I COVID baby, then I made a acacia tree because I'm passionate about trees. Do our eco wedding next year, then we'll invite you. Current Zimbabwe. I'm the environment agency as a poet. And much like these youngsters, they came all the way about just what has gone wrong with the nature that nature us. I feel that by 21st century monsters, climate change and global warming, and this adopted cousin of confusion called COVID-19, which has created ripple effects of untold pain and suffering to the social environmental pillars. Yet Mother Nature's crown has been stolen, robbed, teared off, losing dignity due to unsustainable actions, beautiful skin eroded, and her smooth skin roasted by red fires, her head becoming bald, hairs ravaged by wanton deforestation, lungs in failures from consuming toxic substances, dry soil and leaves because of droughts, experiencing severe headaches due to rising temperatures. Her eyes are blind because of carbon emissions. The environment was where as the fauna and flora of the vegetation ebb and sprawl. On her face, tears of waterfall flows from the melting ice caps. Now vomiting floods all over the place. No ecological balance due to our unsustainable actions. And now she is dead because of environmental pollution. Dwindling water sources. Indeed, Mother Nature intensive care she is. How can we save her from this agonizing scenario? Planet Earth, the only place we call home. We did not inherit from our forefathers, but rather got it from our children. And what legacy are we creating for future generations? A legacy of rubbish, because we and I don't know the definition and function of a being. What are we going to say when we are asked by our grandchildren, grandparents, what were trees? Are we going to tell them that trees were planted brown market because by then they'll be extinct? Are we busy creating Amazon desert, color forest? Let us not create a but rather let us whose attain the environment never system until that provide life by self-success. The drops of rain forming so aspire before our spheres of influence by embarking on environmental wagon spearheaded by EEASA, whose mission is to spread the green gospel of environmental education by conserving nature and reducing the carbon footprints and the most pressing threats to our planet. Advocating on environmental health, justice, stewardship, transferring of green skills into pathways, especially to children and youth, into environmental careers, promoting eco-friendly products such as electric cars, as it has been mentioned earlier on by the VC. Tree planting and conservation, nature of use of renewable energy sources, upcycling, recycling, and sustainable agriculture to boost our food security, saving energy within southern region and beyond, all being done according to sustainable development goals, because we prioritize the environment first and say no to environmental abuse. So you and I is on your decades ago, a star was designed by the engineer of this planet. She was included in the parameters for them.
runners of whatever we are doing. We are looking at different aspects that are coming from the curriculum. We try to do it cross-curricular, and we also focus very much on sustainable agriculture. The school is participating in many projects and competition. We try to aim for a 5 sunflower rating as an eco school. We are awaiting the results towards the end of this week. And then we are also participating in a seed project with our agriculture project. Our agriculture project is the pride of the school. We provide food for our own school feeding scheme. So we have a huge plot where we plant our own vegetables. The children are responsible for the garden. They maintain it, they grow the vegetables, they harvest. We sell some of it, we eat some of it. So our agriculture project is really our trailblazing project in the whole ecosystem and eco projecting that we are launching. I would also like just to give you a brief overview of what we are currently doing at school. There on the screen, you would see the Eco Club. Those are the other members of the club. We started with the grade 7s of the school, and then we incorporated the grade 6s into the club. But the whole school is participating in all the projects that we are launching. We observe all international environmental days, and the Eco Club, they are running with it, creating awareness, rolling it out into the community of Oranienburg and even beyond. So that's why I said we are trailblazers. We want other schools to ask, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I can remember when my cousin, Miss Richardine Busler, I saw her at the back, when she was visiting universities in Finland and posting pictures. I said, cousin, but that is what we are trying to do here. And she said, you're doing the right thing. Continue. You're doing the right thing. You're on the right track. And that is very heartwarming here today to know that we are going to meet the right people at this platform to do a lot of networking. I always say to people when they come to the school in the mornings and they look for the principal is absent. I'm only a principal in the afternoons. I'm a teacher in the mornings. And most days you will find me with a hat, my gumboots, and my civvies on my way to the garden, busy with eco projects. So I'm not a principal in the morning, only in the afternoon. Right, we can continue. That is our eco pledge, as we have just heard from the learners. And we implement every single thing that you see there. Even our parents are part of this process. We look at water, living in the desert, you appreciate every single drop. So what we do is we manage the water usage at school to such a level that we qualify for eco status, which means all taps must be closed, no leakages, no wasting of water. We maintain our gardens with grey water. We do whatever we can do. And that also spills over to the households because children take the message home and parents are also part of it. We also look at energy. We make sure that we save whatever we are using. We try to keep the area around the school at night as dark as possible because of light pollution. And children also know, if they enter a classroom around 8 o'clock and they find your lights on, you are fined $50 per class. If they find your recycle box filled with non-recyclables, you are fined $50 per class. Conservation is very high on the agenda, and Kim is going to tell you a little bit more about that just now. We also engage with the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. They are our close partners. We also have OMDIS, which is a town transformation agency in Oranienburg. They are with NAMDIP in the whole project. So we have a lot of part over there. You will see our recycle center at school, donated by Deb Marine and NAMDIP. We have glass, metal, paper, plastic. We have a recycling team at school. You just see the boys running around doing the recycling every now and then during the day. By the end of the school day, all recyclables are in those bags. And then we look at what we can do with those items. We also have NAMDIP collecting it and sending it to recycling plants, either in South Africa or in Windhoek. Our social responsibility is also part of sustainability because we are trying to cover SDGs on poverty and hunger. In that aspect, we reach out to other schools in our region, in our area, and also our local community. We have a huge feeding scheme at school. We eat, we cook, and we grow. That's our garden. You can see over there we have a greenhouse where we grow vegetables like cucumbers, tomatoes. We can just go back to the garden. Thank you, ma'am. So that little greenhouse is where we also do our experiments to see what works and what doesn't work. So don't let anybody ever tell you that nothing grows in the desert. All those things are growing in the desert. We have 3 open plots with netted areas where we grow onions, carrots, lettuce, cabbage, anything. We are going to try potatoes now. We did some pilot projects on potatoes with the help of OMDIS, the Town Transformation Agency, because they also have a huge agricultural project. So we are going to give potatoes a go now. I think it's going to be a winner. So the children maintain, they grow, they harvest, they know exactly how to look at the pH level of the soil. They know how to and have little team now is
we have 6 groups and we have covered 12 sustainable development goals. We have conservation, energy, water, recycling, garden management, and social responsibility. In conservation, we have urgent action on climate change, protect the environment, and conserve sea and marine resources. For energy, it's sustainable energy, water, and recycling is sustainable consumption. Garden management is hunger, and social responsibility, which is poverty, health, education, gender equality, and sustainable economy.
Right, as you've heard from Kim, those are the areas that we are covering. And our aim is that after this conference, we will gain more knowledge on what we can still do, how we can still implement it at our school. And ultimately, we would like to inspire other schools in our area, which we are already trying to do, and in our region and nationally, to also participate in all these things that we are doing at the moment, and also to take smart ideas from this conference that we can implement in our environmental education at school. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are trying to do in the far southern corner of Namibia. So just imagine what all the other schools can do in all the other beautiful towns with more resources. If we can do this in the desert, then the challenge is on. Thank you.
Another hand of applause. That was powerful. And the conclusion itself was even more powerful. So I don't even want to say anything to dilute what the principal have said. So thank you so much, Ambrosius Amtenya Primary School, for a very good presentation. It's very inspiring to know that our little ones are also able to actually articulate the sustainable development goals. So I think we are on the right track, Sadak. So let's continue doing what we are doing and just scale what we can scale, as the principal of Ambrosius Amtenya said. Thank you to Ambrosius Amtenya Primary School. So at this point, I would say we have come to the end of our plenary. Just a few announcements. It's an early tea, but it's because of the remarks of the Deputy Minister or the Minister of Education, who is not able to join us today. So we are going to go on early tea, and that will probably give us more time for greeting each other, because some of the delegates just arrived this morning, so we still want to greet them and welcome them. Those who are not done registering, they can still go register and get their registration packages. And in terms of logistics, we will have tea now. Prof, we just want to do some announcements because I might miss one or two.
Actually, we've been not going to do the announcement because we have been grooming him to do this. It's the young one, upcoming environmental educator. So we are just where the venues are, just to make the announcement, and the washroom. You know where it is. Okay. It's in, yes, those announcements. Because you are the hero of the program. Yeah. Thank you.
I like how Prof says we have been grooming him, because I always say he's my mentor. I couldn't just, yeah. So having said that, then I'm just going to make an announcement regarding the session after tea, which is the parallel session. So we are going to now go into our parallel session as per our program. And in our program, we have, thank you, Eureka. You have 5 parallel sessions, and the 5th session is an online session to accommodate our delegates who were not able to physically join us, but they want to participate in the conference in terms of presentation. I know there are others who are joining at the moment in the streaming, but there will be others who will be presenting during that session 5. So for the session 5, I'm going to ask anybody who wants to go to that parallel session to follow Prevent, because that venue is in the library, on the, not on the far side, but just somewhere a bit down my left direction. So Prevent will be able to direct you. But if you cannot find Prevent, then you can just ask where is the library. And then once you are in the library, you will then be able to locate that venue.
Can follow me.
And then the rest of the parallel sessions, which is now 1, 2, 3, 4, are going to be just in the lecture venues here in front of PK. This is PK1, and then in front there are few lecture venues, and they are labeled. So there will be lecture venue 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is where the 4 parallel sessions are going to happen. 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you come from T, you can just look at your program. If you want to go to the first one, which is now parallel 1, or the track 1, sorry. Track 1 will be, maybe you can just make a note somewhere for yourselves, because unfortunately we haven't indicated that on the program. So on the program, you can just say track 1 is lecture hall 3. And people are taking pen, so let me just pause a minute. Track 1, LH3. Track 2, LH4. Track 3, LH5. And then track 4, LH6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Just in front here. You will use the stairs. There are 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. And then, like I said, the track 5, which is now the more online participation. If you want to listen to the online presentation, that are in track 5, you then go to the library.
Can you repeat the tracks again, please? In the venue.
Track 5, library. Track 1, LH3. Track 2, LH4. Track 3, LH5. Track 4, LH6. That are just in front of the PK. This venue where we are, just in front. And maybe just on that program also, there are also chairs or those people who are responsible for chairing different sessions. So they can also just get to their venues as we are after tea, and then we will just have a bit of not a session, but we will tell you exactly what the responsibility of the chair is, which I'll also share via email. I just missed sharing that this morning.
That's and then, yeah.
And also note that we have Canadian who will be collecting all our presentations, because we also need to collect them so that even when you are not able to go to a session, but you want to access the presentation, you can still access that. So we also want to create a database for all the presentation. So sorry, I always mispronounce her name and I apologize for that. We'll be collecting, you can just stand so that they can see you. So please feel free to email her the presentations, feel free to email me the presentations, feel free to give it to her through whatever means or to me. And then, like I said, you can just put it all in one place so that they are easily accessible for everyone.
They are still not doing the registration. Okay, so there will be continuation of the registration outside, and also those who are setting up, because we couldn't meet yesterday, some were arriving, those who want to set up their, their exhibitions, it's in the gym. It's just not a short distance from the main hall. Just step there, just go there to make sure that it's actually open. So please, those who are going to do the setup, to put there. Okay, yes, Pandelin. And we just sort of.
So is there tech assistance at the training?
Yes. Yeah, I think maybe we can collect
Yeah.
Yes, there will be a student. There will be a student assistant in every venue, and one of the local organizing committee members who will also be in the venue, and the chair of the session. So I think the chair or the student can also help in collecting that so that we can manage that process. But I have also seen that, yes, we did get a Wi-Fi for guests, but it seems like it's problematic. It's not connecting properly. So we probably just need to consult with our computer, with our technical team to see if they can sort that out, because I see a lot of people want to connect, and yes, we need to be connected. Yes, my dear.
Can we keep the water on our side?
Can you say that loud?
Yes.
So let's please give Ambrosius Amtenya an opportunity to collect all our bottles, water bottles, so that they can go and recycle. And as you heard from Prof saying, there's more than enough for everyone, but once you have drank the water, let's recycle our bottles. Sorry?
No, I was pleading with all the presenters. Can we, those who study this particular session, go and load your presentation into the computers at your respective base, This would assist us to move much more faster. So that there is no any disturbance, because my worry is that always somebody who presents the last to us land will find that this time it's been taken. So can everybody every day at the beginning of a session, please load your presentation into that particular page to ease the movement, please.
So thanks, Solly, for that. So please, those who are going to present between now and lunchtime, it would be nice to just locate your venue quickly.
Yes.
And then be able to load your presentation so that we do not delay and we not take up each other's time. But just to again, maybe echo what Prof said, it might not have been very explicit, but we have the main hall down, those who are in 2014 may still remember our main hall. That is where we are going to have our meals, including our tea. And then further down the corridor from the main hall, there is what we call our gym hall. That's where we do some of our sports activities. And in that gym hall, we have the exhibitions for those who are exhibiting. So if you want to come off the exhibition, please do make time during lunches and tea times to go and explore what's happening there. And at this juncture, let me then invite everyone, or maybe before I invite everybody for tea, I just want to acknowledge Mr. David Sampson, who is our photographer, and he is also one of the pioneers of environmental education. I can see how Jim is heavily waving at him. So he's one of the pioneers of environmental education, and he is our colleague at the university. So he is going to be, David, our photographer for the 3 days. And hopefully tomorrow we can also have a nice environment when it's here tomorrow, but David will guide us on that one. So I then invite all of us to tea, and then we will engage further after tea in the parallel session.